There can be only one podcast, and may it be the Princess of the Universe. Hi, folks, I'm Matt.
And I'm Wes.
Hey, welcome back.
Man, I can't believe it's been 3 weeks.
I'm telling you. I'm having fun with this. Thank you for coming in and doing this, by the way.
Thank you for leveraging one of your peanut gallery.
I'm telling you, it's been fun. It's been really fun. Folks, if you haven't watched the first 3 episodes, you probably should. I did get a comment on one of the first episodes that someone was enjoying it. Someone reached out to me and enjoyed it, remembering the series. Went back and watched them and said, "You guys are right. They aren't very good." I said, "Why did you watch them?"
I'm glad that we convinced somebody that how awful something was. They wanted to say, "I want to see how bad this tastes."
Yeah, like, how big is that train wreck? Don't look, it's ugly, but I gotta take a peek anyway.
Or no, it's like when you're eating something and you go, "Oh, this is awful. Do you want to bite?" And inevitably, somebody's going to go, "I want to know how awful what you're saying is awful."
But instead of spitting it out, they chew it and swallow it. And speaking of, we're going to talk about the first episode, Rub 3 Times for Disaster.
You know, when I read that title, I thought it was an autobiography.
For who?
For probably everybody listening to this podcast, including the 2 hosts or 1 co-host.
Season 4 is the season where they went back to every classic tale from your childhood, and they put it in a superhero theme. Like the evil space genie from the... Everything's got to be space, by the way. There's space Arabs going around with space turbans, and they're trying to get this space genie to give them their 3 wishes, who's super powerful. But to be honest, this was in the opening credits when they were SuperFriends. Yeah, his hands would come together. Yeah, okay, we're doing the actions here, like you can see us. And he'd smash Superman, then Superman would just boom, push the hands apart. And the moment I saw the thing, and I was like, "Oh, okay, this is going to be that episode." Because I remembered the genie, and I thought that he was really awesome.
Yeah, the genie is very menacing. Good voice, creepy eyes.
Oh yeah. He's good. But that's all they're doing is they're just taking old fiction and then pushing back in. One interesting was Lex Luthor Strikes Back, which I'm wondering. Empire Strikes Back. This is late 1979. So obviously the next title to Star Wars had already been revealed.
Sure.
And so obviously I think that was something that they were playing off of. Plus the first Superman movie by Christopher Reeves had come out.
Sure.
And because he has Lex Luthor gets out of jail thanks to his friend Orville Gump. Orville. "Oh, Mr. Luthor, I don't know, Mr. Luthor, what are you going to do?" "Well, you dimwit, we're going to, So obviously they're playing off the recently released Superman movie. Again, I see what they're doing here. Good job. All these stories, this is where the storylines kind of pick up a little bit more, and they're told for kids. There's not much imagination put into it because they're just borrowing from what they know.
Sure. But
kids are familiar with that because I was a kid back then. I was a little baby back then, so I didn't get to go see Superman in theaters. But I love the old, what's his name? Who played Superman? Christopher Reeves, Superman movies. They're fun. Well, the first 2 are fun.
Number 1 is definitely. Number 2.
Number 1's the best. 2 is fine.
Yeah.
3 is...
There's a lot of podcasts out there talking about the Superman saga and how twisted up in litigation and...
Yeah.
It was pretty murky.
3 was they tried to inject that forced humor with Richard Pryor. And
Richard Pryor's just not PG.
No, and when they try to make it, he just looks stupid. And supposedly they just turned the camera on and let him do whatever he wanted to do. And to an extent of PG, and Richard Pryor, like you said, can't do PG. It's taking all the meat out of the barbecue and just giving you the sauce. I mean, just not much there.
Yeah, you rubbed it 3 times. You still didn't get anything.
Still got disasters. What you got? Yeah.
Man, we've all been there.
They ended up with more than egg on their face. I'll tell you that. Next one is Space Knights of the Chameleon. This is King Arthur. This is where the Black Knight and everything. Superman is actually the Black Knight because he gets knocked unconscious and across the galaxy. He punches some meteorite and then gets blown halfway across the galaxy. Wakes up as thinks he's the Black Knight now, and the tail. Of course, Batman and friends go to save him. So it's the Space Camelot with their space swords fighting, laser swords.
Another heavy borrow of Star Wars.
And it does, borrows from Star Wars. And then one that I was kind of surprised on, and I missed the name of it. But when I was watching it, I said, this is Lord of the Rings. And the actual title is called The Lord of Middle-earth.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they don't try to shy away from what they're taking on. But to do this, they shrink the superheroes into trolls. Which hobbits.
Feet.
They look just like hobbits, yeah, with hairy feet, but they're called trolls, and they do their voices like this now. And because they're trolls, they've lost their magic. Or Superman's not strong anymore. Wonder Woman's not strong anymore.
Although she has her lasso.
She has her lasso, but it doesn't work, I guess. And Batman is just smaller.
And he still has his utility belt because the way that ending has something to do with the.
Yeah, but the
lasso is involved.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Oh, yeah. And there's a ring. There's a quest to get the ring and stuff. And there's an evil wizard. A Sauron-like character.
It's putting a new coat of paint on old stories.
Yeah, it's what they're doing. And like I said, we go on. There's tons of them in here. Like Terror at 20,000 fathoms. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. We got to have something for Aquaman to do because we've been ignoring him a little bit here. And then the best title, probably the SuperFriends.
Is that one the one about the glaciers? Or is that a different episode? I know
that may be no. I'm not seeing this one. It says the evil Captain Nimoy. Nimoy, yeah. Plots a nuclear warhead missiles to sink continents below the sea. I mean, maybe. I don't know. It doesn't say anything about an iceberg, but maybe. Okay. But the next one is called Super Friends Meet Frankenstein. Because, Abbott and Costello did it, so why not the Super Friends?
Which is also...
now, that's the one you were talking about.
Gallery's favorite, Heath Futch, said that is his favorite episode of the Super Friends as well. So probably another reason why we've been buddies for 25 years.
And you mentioned this one last time because you thought it was a season 3 episode. And I do remember this one as well. This is where they merge is Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman. And they're got the strength of the wisdom or smarts of Batman. Even though all it can say is
utility belt.
Even the utility belt, it has the lasso of Wonder Woman.
Batman's mask.
Yeah, and it goes rah because it's got
Wonder Woman's tights, unfortunately.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Fortunately,
it's not showing off.
No. So what they do is they super juice Robin with whatever juices the three of them have, because the other superheroes are weak. They're not. Batman's mental capacity is not as good. Great Hera, her telepathic community powers are Wonder Woman's are
it's
depleted.
It's like Thanksgiving leftovers.
Yeah, and so
put it all together.
And so Robin gobbles them all up and somehow becomes just as strong as the Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman type. But I remember this one. I remember this one explicitly. So that was one that I remember watching, and so that was a familiar one. And then the Planet of Oz, where Aquaman is the Scarecrow, Wonder Woman is the Lion, and Superman is the Tin Man.
With Mxyzptlk.
There you go. You do remember this one, yeah. And they go to they're walking through the Book of Oz. So again,
I think Mxyzptlk's a good villain on Super Friends.
That's
worked extremely well. I don't know if it's the kid element, I don't know what worked so well for me when I was a kid with Mxyzptlk. But it still holds my attention.
Oh yeah, it's definitely it's a decent series because they just go with classic stories there. Now that was it for 30 minutes. That's what you got to do, but because they borrowed from what would be like a 2-hour story, they got to condense it, and it filled up the 30 minutes with we talked about the lag time in the first season. Just like there was no dead time. It was a big 30-minute episode, but it was chock full of your familiar adventures. Right. So they made do with what they did. Now this was only 8 seasons, but I didn't know when I was watching it because I think after I finished that one, I went to the next one and I noticed it was saying season 5. I was like, season, what did I miss? Because before that we'd gotten 30 or 20 something episodes of the other ones, but no, it only went 8 seasons, and then they went to the next one. So it's like, what is it? What's the BBC? It's like a BBC. We'll just make as many as we need, and then we'll call that a season.
BBC, boy, that has taken on so many meanings over the past few years with the ways that BBC means.
Yeah, British Broadcasting.
Right.
Cock. So,
heavy edit. Talk about rub it 3 times.
For disaster. Okay, so season number 5. Season number 5 had this goes back to the whole 7-minute 3-episode thing that we both talked about enjoying, because it never overstays its welcome.
Correct.
And they have just different ones here where they're meeting. Apache Chief meets the Bigfoot Men. That's how it started.
Holy cow! What a rotten episode.
Which turned out to be aliens, right?
Right. They were just wanting to get home, like E.T. But what was interesting to me about
that
episode is somehow they got Apache Chief off his feet when he was a giant and just drug him on in.
Oh, they did that at the very beginning.
Yeah.
That's right.
So but at the end, or spoiler alert, when he comes back and he becomes a giant again, he catches them all like in the palm of his hand, and he's like, you can't go anywhere. And it's like, why didn't you do this
It's
earlier?
the beginning.
How did this not...
Doesn't he grow big and take the saucer or something? Or I don't know.
He snatches them up, and then Batman is able to call the Batmobile into this cave, and the Batmobile just hauls ass straight through.
Oh, yeah.
This is very interesting to think that a cave.
I forgot about that.
A straight shot.
Yeah, well, the cave just right there. This must happen in Bruce Wayne's backyard, on his land. It happened on his land. He let Apache Chief and a few of his friends come on Wayne Manor.
They went camping.
And Robin said,
and the
holy Redskins, Batman! Apache Chief's out there.
The Bigfoots kind of look like Thundar the Barbarian's Chewbacca ripoff. In a weird way.
They do! Wow, that is a good call. Well, it's Hanna-Barbera,
sure,
so they were...
Let's borrow
why not borrow the artist there?
Yeah,
they did. I didn't think about that. Golly, Thundar the Barbarian. I tried watching an episode of that recently, because I remember thinking, oh, that's neat, but I never really wanted to watch it. If it was on, I'd watch it as a kid. Were you a Thundar the Barbarian fan?
I liked it when I was a kid. I haven't watched it recently.
I was more of a Space Ghost regular before the Coast to Coast. I was more of a Space Ghost.
I like Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Well, no, it was great too. But I'm just saying, when the old cartoon was on, I was a big Space Ghost fan, because it was Space Ghost and Thundar that used to show. And I was like, Thundar, I can take or leave, because, a Conan, Space Conan.
It's very Clash of the Titans that came out. Conan,
yes, it's all that together.
Star Wars, let's just put a lot of that together and shake it all up.
Yeah, yeah. But this in season 5, they go back to the old, let's just, like you said, it was Apache Chief, Batman, Robin. And then the next episode would be Wonder Woman, Black Vulcan. And Aquaman, Green Lantern, or something. It was always...
Everybody gets their minute.
Everyone gets their minute to go in there, basically built on the same... They went back to that 7-minute method, which is fine, because like I said, for 7 minutes, and I think it's 15 seconds, you can watch basically any slot they put up there. The Bigfoot minutes. Thing, very lame, but it's over in 7 minutes, so you forgive it.
They get to
the end. They get to the end. There's another one here that I don't know if you remember this, but there's something called Rock and Roll Space Bandits.
Oh, yeah.
The Wonder Twins had faced them. And you can tell this is written by old, crotchety people who don't understand this new kid music. Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing.
The clouds.
What happens to Sinatra and the classics?
Yeah, it's like a takeoff of like the uproar against Kiss.
And that's exactly what... Because it's like... because Superman and Batman they're making such an awful racket. We need to stop them. Yeah, because their noise sucks. You kids with your Jimi Hendrix, your Doors, and your Aerosmith, and it's written by Sinatra fans who hate rock music. Yeah. It is an obvious, because they've got all the little rock, classic rock things, tropes to them, but they're aliens,
right?
Which is why they're bad, but. the Rock and Roll Space Bandits. I really, and the Wonder Twins, which are basically, Beatle fans, with their little bob haircuts and everything. They're from the 60s.
I don't know if they're Beatle fans.
You don't think they're Beatle fans?
I think they're just
But since it's a
clowns.
younger
Superhero.
younger superheroes trying to do it, and Batman has to stop something to turn the sound waves on them. They're like, because even if they really listen to the music,
So
they
if you
won't
play
like
the
it
record
either.
Backwards, you get to hear a record played backwards,
You-
and it sucks.
exactly. But you can tell where that one was going. I mean, they weren't even. Let me see. That one came out in September 27th, 1980. So, like I said, it's a bunch of people raised up in the 50s and stuff, a little bit of 60s, and said, this new music sucks. And like, I'll be honest, I'll say that today. Most new music to me sucks. All right?
You're an old man.
I'm an old man. I don't know. I bet, do you listen to the new music? Are you into the new?
No, I'm just trying to keep up with all your podcasts.
Since we're talking,
and
since we're talking about Heath now, since he's not here right now,
right.
He's a big music guy.
Huge.
But not. Is it new? Does he keep it with newer bands, or just does he stay true to his older bands? And because everyone tours.
Yeah, I think that he's more of a. Heath grew up around radio, top 40, grew out in the country, so Heath wanted to be Kevin Bacon in Footloose. Like, he's told me before when he watched Footloose.
That was him.
I know we're jumping the shark, but he wanted to dance around in a barn. And
who doesn't?
Well,
in a town that that forbids dancing?
I mean,
that's what he wanted. That was his dream.
So if
like
anybody knows Heath Futch, think about him dancing like Kevin Bacon in a tank top.
In a tank top. Yeah.
Anyway.
That's just a scary thought.
Yeah.
Rub 3 times for disaster, folks. All right.
At least.
Next up, they repeated. There's a few other things. There's a few Mixapic or Mixoplick episodes in here, but there's one that copies strangely from the Dracula episode I talked about to you earlier.
Yeah.
The voodoo vampire.
Correct.
The where I-beam shoot from her sky and she turns people into vampires. She turns I can't remember into vampires now, but she's making them vampire slaves. I'm going, wait, we're recycling the same story, but it's voodoo from Africa.
In a swamp, and what's interesting to me about all of these Super Friends episodes that obviously for your kid you're not thinking this way. The Super Friends can get to any disaster so fast.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not talking about the Flash or Superman, who they're the fastest things on Earth. Like Batman can get in the jet, and his ass is there, quick.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like.
Well, it's
Right,
7. We have 7 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's
this podcast has went over 7 minutes. I'm sure we've lost a few people.
Well, but the Legion of Doom, we should mention, they're never seen again. And it's really weird because, again, like I said when we were talking about season 3, in my mind, I thought most of the, like, at least 4 of the 8 seasons were Legion of Doom.
Right.
It felt like they were just such a big part of my child. I mean, they were, but it seems like they were in every episode, and they weren't.
I think that possibly when these went into syndication and stuff, somebody had watched these episodes. They had 12 kids came in and watched cartoons for an hour, and they said, these are awful, these are good. Let's just keep these
going on. Maybe so. But I mean, it's not to say the Legion of Doom didn't come into this, because you still have, we are talking about Lex Luthor comes back.
Sure.
Riddler is in an episode where he leads them all around the world, and I think it's around the world in 80 riddles. Bizarro comes back.
Yeah.
He goes from Bizarro World and tries to mess with Superman and friends. So, a few of them come back here and there. They're not a team anymore. Not to say the Legion of Doom was destined to be together for all time, but so maybe in my mind, if those episodes were playing, I still kind of assumed it was the Legion of Doom,
Sure.
But because you still see
familiar.
Yeah, it's familiar. So you still see some familiar, and I'm glad that they kept those super villains in there.
Yeah.
Because if you're just doing something, like here's one, Termites from Venus, or the sequel to Rub 3 Times for Disaster, which is called Eruption. So I mean, yeah.
Who didn't try to play that with her hand?
It's very
finger tapping.
It's a very hands-on episode.
Yes.
But the Wonder Twins rescue reckless hang gliders who fall into a volcano. Ouch. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm going to say that Zan transforms into a bucket of water. It does nothing against the volcano. He comes back as steam, blinds his sister who's a bird, and they both crash into the volcano and die. If I was writing that episode, that's exactly how it would have happened. And Gleek, he would have survived, had survivor's guilt for the rest of the remaining season.
We're really winding down on this.
Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, but again, season 5, only 5 episodes, going back to the 7-minute run. Nothing really nothing really big, just 7 minutes, and that's it. Then you go to the next cartoon with 3 more different people. Season 6, the last one we're going to talk about here, is still keeping with the 3 episodes per season. We are getting Mexoplex here and there, like when he's making a movie and everyone's reading the script and having
Obviously,
to play
like I said, someone watched this with some kids and they gravitated to that character because there's no reason to keep bringing him back.
Yeah. You have what was the other one? Oh, here it is. 3 Wishes. Again, another evil space genie, but this one, it's a different one. It's one captured in the Justice League's trophy case of evil or something, or evil artifacts. And so Zan's like, oh, look, Jaina, a lamp. Don't touch it, brother. It looks like it could be dangerous. What could go wrong? And then, of course, it has a genie, and it's an evil genie, but they don't know that. So Zan says, we want to be superheroes and fight villains and save people from disasters. And so they make some supervillains, then opens up, tons of disasters and villains for them to fight. So everything goes wrong. And of course, at the end, Zan just says, oh, I just wish we'd never rubbed this genie. What did you say? No! And that's how he did. Wow, Zan, you outsmarted the genie. No, you didn't. You were just saying something, and you luckily, and so it goes back to the very beginning of the episode, where it's like, you better not touch that, Zan. Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't touch it.
Again,
let's go, Jaina, and that's the end of it.
Smarter than the boy.
Oh, yeah. Scene. Oh, man. And
he is an idiot.
He's an idiot, because I think we talked about this in a previous episode, that, he's the one that gets scared. Gleek's always, oh, no, Gleek's still giant size. Nope, his face is in front of a magnifying glass. You're just too stupid.
And he has the worst power. I mean, he just is really saddled with a bag of rocks.
That's another thing about his power. When he changes one episode into an ice rocket, and she went, how are we going to fly, big brother? He went, steam! And then he shoots steam out of his his engine. I don't know. I thought she was going to say, how are we going to fly, big brother? Well, rub 3 times for disaster, Jaina.
My goodness.
Just going to beat that joke with a stick. I'm telling you what.
That's a lot of beating.
Well, it's a hard stick. So anyway, but then later on, he turns into a jet. He just fires his rockets. I mean, there's like flames shooting out of him. I'm like, wait, what? It's like the writers are like, yeah, they didn't write us an out on here, so we're just going to just draw it like this and just like, screw it now. We don't really care. Now, as a kid, you don't know, and you don't care.
Right.
You don't care. Kids don't look at that type of thing.
Thinking, finally, wow, this kid's paying off. It's not being like
a bucket of water. You're like, here you go, Jaina, carry me around for this adventure.
He's like the
an ice wall
driver of all of your buddies. He is Mr. Dependable. Always there when you need him. Right. I'm telling you. Yeah, he just wants to hang out with the cool kids. He's like, look, I'll drive. You puke in my car, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. That's true. He's totally worthless in this. And Gleek actually does more heroic things in the series at times than he does. I mean, Gleek will have to carry him in that bucket of water. Because Jaina's like, I'm not carrying him anymore. Gleek, you're going to have to do this. And he's like, oh, okay, fine. I'll do it. I don't care. I'm your pet blue monkey with Spock ears. What do I know? There's a few other episodes in here. Nothing really amazing. Like I said, these are all fun little ones. They go back Bizarro World, of course. They have another Bizarro World episode because obviously whoever writing is like, hey, I like Bizarro. You know, let's do more of him.
It's like they looked up. They had the Legion of Doom on the wall. And
yeah.
They picked the person. Said, hey, how can we get 7 minutes? How can we get 7 minutes? How can we get 7 minutes?
That's exactly what they did. Except for
play off these other episodes.
Yeah, exactly.
Smart in there.
You had the Superman 2 episode later on where the 3 villains that escaped from prison or the negative zone or whatever it was called, they get released. It's not General Zod, but it's 3 people just like him, and they say, hey, for 7 minutes we can rip off Superman 2. Yeah, that's what they do. And I mean, sometimes they come with, you know, good ideas like that, and then sometimes they just go, okay, what haven't we done lately? Who can we bring back? I'll be honest, Samurai gets the least amount of love out of the 3 characters they created, because you see him here and there in a few episodes, but Apache Chief gets the most screen time, followed by Black Vulcan. But Black Vulcan really doesn't have much to do but fly around.
Apache Chief gets a lot of play from the Coca-Cola commercial.
Oh, absolutely.
There was something there.
There was They
played on that.
I think so.
With that?
Apache Chief? Yeah. All the way. You go Apache Chief all the way. Did he have an action figure, by the way? I want to say he did, but I don't think he did.
No.
Did any of them? Did Black Vulcan?
Had one in Superpowers line, yeah.
Samurai did, and Black Vulcan, did he have one?
Not that I remember.
So Apache Chief. Would you have gotten an Apache Chief? But see, what would
I rubbed it 3 times and it grew.
I was going to say, what would his super... Because, you know, his superpower grows, so I guess you couldn't make him... Okay. I'm going to move on. There's another episode. The Wonder Twins are the ones that have the stupidest episodes. Oh, by the way, they're not... And I don't know if I mentioned this in the last one, but they're not full JLA members. And they say that in one episode because they're not allowed to know the secret identities. Like they go to some exhibit with Clark Kent. Boy, I'm so glad. I wish Superman was here. Well, don't worry, Zan. He's close by. Really? How do you know? Me and Superman are good friends. I'm like, Superman, don't be a jerk. Come on. And kids, are you that dumb? Can you not see through his glasses to see who he is? But there's an episode where Clark Kent's there, and then he disappears, and Superman comes, and they go, oh, Superman. And then, oh, there you are, Clark. You missed it. Superman's here. Superman's here? Gee, gosh, golly, I wish I would have seen that. And you're like,
suspend a little bit of disbelief.
But they're Wonder Twins. They get to hang out in the...
They're just as dumb as that monkey.
I don't know. I think the monkey may be the smartest one of the whole group. There's another one where the Wonder Twins go into it's called the Witch's Arcade. There's a witch who runs a pinball video game place, because why? I mean, she looks like a witch. It's not someone who's, you know, she poof and now she's in her witch. No, she's taking your counter and she looks like the witch from Snow White. Not hiding it here.
Well, working customer service is hard on folks. I can attest to that.
But so she lets them in, and of course zaps them with. Well, one of the machines zaps them with their eyes, and they get sucked into a pinball machine. Oh no! Then Wonder Woman comes, she gets zapped, and they get sucked into a space, game, or something.
Were they playing on what's cool?
Video game, and they were going for what was trendy, what was in there, and I get that. I
don't do King Arthur so many times.
You can only do that one. That is true. So there's a lot of little Wonder Twin episodes they put in here, and this one only went. That's right. I was making sure. Season 6 only went 6 episodes, so it's not like, they were trying to stretch for. Yeah, at this point they're just like, how many do we have to make? Okay, you say 20. How about 6? Because we're tired, and we're about 7 minutes here into it.
Or something.
Yeah, we don't want to go any further. I mean, they go back in time to every era you can think of, to dinosaurs, to... Oh, Samurai did have one episode where they went to 13th century Japan with Batman and Robin, so they send them back in time here, and I think there is a time machine.
Yeah,
if I recall. One Atom, and they go through a time machine, go through time.
Awful.
It is terrible.
How did they trap Wonder Woman so easily? Like, she's like, how do I get out of here? It's like, open the door.
But it's ridiculous because they spend 30 seconds solving the issue of, who are you, Blackbeard? Oh no, he's got a net on us. Don't worry, I'll get us out of this, Wonder Woman. Boom, we're out. Okay, back to the machine.
Really,
wait, that's it?
It's really
and then literally
ruined
it's 30 seconds.
More now than any other character watching Wonder Woman animated after watching Gale.
And by the way, this is hold on, let me 1982 at this point, and she is still wearing her 1973. This is almost 10 years later. She's still.
Time Machine episode. She says we're going back to 1980. So it may have came out in 82, but in that episode she says.
Oh, okay. You know what? I may have gotten it wrong. Then this may have been a season 4 or 5 that we were talking about. Because I do remember that.
They're actually validating
what year it is. Well, they do that a couple of times. Like when Batman dies, it was 1979 on his tombstone. I was like, oh, because that was the.
You rarely see that.
Yeah, you don't see that anymore. Back then, we're gonna live forever. So there it is, 80. You think we're gonna see Batman 40 years from now? Screw that. He'll be dead by then. So 1980 is a good time. We'll deal with that. But yeah, you don't see that today because it dates the show. But back then, but I like that. I like that they do stuff like that.
Agree.
We gotta get back to 1979. I'm like, yeah, we do.
It really puts everything in context.
Yeah. So overall, these seasons, like I said, they have some good ideas. They have some weak ideas, but the weak ideas, thankfully, are the shorter episodes. And again, this isn't like the best series in the world we're talking about here, but for Super Friends, they're short. I mean, you're talking about 2 8 episode seasons and then 1 6 episode season. So
they definitely are winding down creatively, but they're coming up with. They're borrowing to keep it going. So they're trying to keep the train on the track.
Yeah. And they're going to do that in the last 2 seasons, and we'll talk about that next time.
Excellent.
On Princes of the Universe.